Welcome back. In this section we want to talk about function overloading because this is a very important topic if you want to hook a function with Frida. In case if you're doing it wrong, Frida is amazingly helpful and providing us all the information we need to fix our issue. So therefore it's not a big deal, but nevertheless, let's try to understand what's going on if Frida is printing out these overloading function errors. Alrighty? Okay, let's go. So here we are back at our Ubuntu VM and we have this roll dice method over here. We have seen if you do not provide the correct amount of arguments to this function, then Frida is printing out this overloading error. But what is this overloading error? Overloading a function simply means we are having the same function once again with the same name, but this time with a different amount of arguments, because the program needs to know which function it needs to call at this point. In this case over here, we are only having this roll dice with two parameters over here. So there is no other roll dice method in here. But if we take a look into this random next int, then we have seen in the official documentation that there are two definitions out there for this function. We can call this function without having a parameter, and we can call this function with a parameter. And this one is very important because the function itself is behaving a little bit differently. And therefore, Frida is printing out this error and telling us, I do not know right now which function you want to hook, and definitely something will go wrong at this point. Therefore, I rather abort before you get some strange output over here. And then Frida also tells us, well, I've got this function definition for this and this type. So which one do you want to hook? Please append this dot overload and the correct amount of arguments. But before this is getting too complicated right now on the theory part, let's simply do a practical approach. Let's say we want to hook this next int function. Let's try this out and see what errors we encounter over here. And then we will also know how to fix them. Alrighty? Okay, so I'm opening a new terminal and I'm making my ADB connection. So ADB connect, already connected. Alright, then we are using ADB shell and we need root privileges. Then we go into data, local temp. And here we want to start our Frida server, this one over here. Alright, Frida is running. First step done. Then we need to open this application. Where do we have it? Here. Alright. We also put this on the right. So in the background there's the Frida server and here we have our app. We can see it's working just fine. Yeah, there's no hook right now. Alright. Now let's open our Visual Studio Code editor and then, let's try to hook this random next int function. So we're creating a new project because then we also have some practice regarding to this one. And we save this under, let's see, next int JS. All right. The first thing we need to do is we need to tell Frida, please attach to the JVM. We can do this with java.perform. Yes, we have JavaScript syntax here enabled. Okay, that's good. All right, that's a function call. And then within this function call, we are providing an anonymous function. And this one over here. And this is now our body where we need to provide our hook. I'm gonna close this one real quick. Okay, now we need to get this reference to the secure random class. So if we go back into our code over here, maybe let's put this on the right. Okay, and we keep this in foreground. All right. So let's see, we want to hook this function next int, and this one is within the secure random class, and this one is within the Java security secure random. Okay, so here we want to hook the next int function, this one over here. This is the method. And this one here is the object, and the object random is from the class secure random. And this class reference is over here, Java security secure random. If we are dealing with an import in the front, so we are importing here a whole class name. And therefore, if we want to get this reference to this class, we can simply use this whole string over here. This is the reference to the secure random class. If we are having this package name over here, in this one, we need to append this class name at the end. So if we go back to the other script, in this one over here, here we can see we are having this package name. And at the end, we need to append this class name. But if we are having an import statement, this is already the complete class reference. So we can simply use this one over here. All right. Forget what you have seen so far. Let's write this new here. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is we need to get a reference to this one. And therefore we are creating a new variable. I mean, in this case, it's an object, but in JavaScript, it's a variable. Let's see, we can also name this exactly like we have seen this here. So we can name this variable random, and then we can assign this now to this reference. And how can we get this reference? Absolutely correct, with java.use. Java.use, and then we need to provide this whole class name over here. Alright, now we're having a reference from secure random class in our random object over here. Alright, now we can call random next int, and please take care about this capital I. This is very important, otherwise the function will not be found. Okay, next int, and now we want to define a new implementation. And so now we want to assign a new function to this one. We want to override this function. And yeah, what do we want to do? Let's say we simply want to return 0. And this means right now, every secure random next int function, this one over here, will be now overwritten with the value 0. If we are doing this correct. In this case, we are not doing it correct, but let's see what error we get. So we take this one here, and then we need to connect to our application. So let's opening this one. All right, we can see it's working. Now we need to attach with Frida to this application process. Therefore, we need to use Frida-u to use the ADB connection, and then we need to have this package name. Not this one, this package name in the Android manifest. This one over here. Okay, now we are attached to this one, and let's see if the script works. Okay, we are immediately getting an error. And if you take a look at this application, this one is still running, so Frida hasn't executed anything right now. Let's see what this error is about. Next int has more than one overload. And now that's the amazing part about Frida. Frida is exactly telling us what we need to do. Use overload signature to choose from. And now Frida has also identified that there are two overloaded methods regarding to this one. Next int has two overloads, no parameter and one parameter with an integer value. So this is the reason why we need to be more precise on this one. We are now having two methods, and those two methods are behaving differently. So we have seen this one over here is returning a number, and this one here is returning a number between 0 and this number exclusive. So the functionality is different. Therefore, Frida needs to know which method we want to hook. And therefore, we need to tell Frida exactly this or this method. Let's see what's the case for us right now. Do we have no or one parameter in the method we want to hook? And let's see. Dicer. Here we can see we are having one parameter, the face_num parameter inside here. Okay, and this one is an integer value. All right, so now we know we need to hook this one over here. The question might be, why can we not simply use it in this way? So if you're providing here one parameter, this one for example, param1, then Frida should know which function it needs to hook, right? Because we are only having one function with one parameter. Yes and no. Regarding to this example, it would be clear, absolutely. But it could be also the case that this method has been overloaded once again with only one single parameter, but this time from a different type. For example, we can have an overloaded method with one integer parameter and an overloaded method with a long, double, and string, and float parameter, one of these types. Then this approach over here still doesn't work. So Frida at this point, or at least I also at this point, doesn't know which function is now being hooked or which function needs to be hooked. And therefore we need to make this exact definition regarding to this one over here. We want to hook the method that has only one parameter, this integer parameter, as an overload. Alright? Okay, now is the question, how can we do this? And the solution for this one, it's freaking amazing. I mean, I have never ever seen a tool with this amazing help of output over here. So what we need to do is simply we need to provide this one over here and copy paste this one after our next int function. And that's it. So now if we put this a little bit on the side, also this one, now we tell Frida, okay, please go into the secure random class, hook the next int function that has only one parameter from type integer. And for this one, please now define a new function. This one over here. No matter what's inside here or no matter what's calculated at this function, always return the number 0 regarding to this random number generator. And if we take a look back into our code, the output will now be the following. This function over here, random next int, this one will return 0. Afterwards, we add +1. And this means all dices, all dices have now the face num. I'm not sure about the correct word, what's the number of dice in English, but here it's called face num, so I stick to this one over here. All right, so all dices have now the face num 1 afterwards, because 0 plus 1 is 1. Quick math, right? Let's try this out. So let's put this on the right. Okay, also keep this in foreground and this. Now let's see. We copy paste this. Okay, scroll up a little bit. I hit enter. And now let's see. There we go. It seems to work. I mean, it could be very lucky that that's the case right now, but yes. And if we change the number of dices over here, let's see. Yes. I mean, of course, it also affects this one here because these number or these dices will be filled by this random number generator. But it's getting even more exciting because we are not only hooking this next int function, we are now hooking every next int function in this whole application. So every time this application is using a secure random number generator next int with an overloaded function of one parameter integer, we are hooking this function and returning 0. Okay, to be honest, this could also cause a lot of trouble, but we will learn later on how we can deal with this one over here. So for example, I give you a quick preview. Okay, so let's say we only want to hook this next int function. Then we can make a little bit of a decision over here. For example, we are providing a parameter, number of faces. This is the parameter that's being provided to our function. And we can now make a simply if statement inside here. And for example, if param1 is equals to 6, then it should return 0. Otherwise, return. And now, do you know how we can get back the original function regarding to the next int? And please think about this for a moment, because we have now a little bit of an exercise over here. You are absolutely correct on this one. So we can return the original statement by simply using this next int and then providing our param1. All right. And this means right now we are only returning the number 0 for the next int function that has a parameter integer from the value 6. I mean, this could be also a few times the case for this whole application, but now we have limited a little bit. Let's see if this one works. So, and let's try this out over here. Okay, no error, that's good. And now let's see. Number of faces 6. So now we should return the number 0 plus 1. So we should have ones inside here. Okay, that's working perfect. It's still working perfect. And now if we change this number, let's see. Now the original method should be called. There we go. So now we have a little bit of a backdoor. Every time we set the number of faces to 6, we are overriding this method, and otherwise the original method is being called. All right, nice. I mean, this one is freaking amazing, right? Absolutely. But I would like to show you one problem. If we go back to number of dices, number of faces to 6, and then if we are overwriting this one over here, so let's say we want to return another number, the static number 7 or 6 in this case, Let's say we want to return the number 6, but this one gets added +1 at the end. So we are now returning the number 7 for all these dices. And there's a little bit of a problem. We can see this over here. If we change the number from 6 to 7, the layout changes. So now we are having numbers inside here. Alright, let's see what the problem is if we are returning the number 7 for this type of dice. Let's copy paste this, insert it over here. Okay, roll the dice. Ooh, the application crashes. Let's see what's the problem. We can see the process has been crashed because we have an error not found resource ID, this one over here. So the smartphone is loading those resources regarding to the dices in form of dots. But now we are returning the number 7, which cannot represent it in those dots because there's no resource file for this one. And this might be the reason why we get this not found exception over here. So Frida gives us unlimited power in patching an application. But if we go too far on this one, we might crash the application on a certain point. And so therefore, we simply have to test it out if it works or not. And if it doesn't work, we can maybe patch the other examples of this function. For example, we could have also patched this one once again. Let me bring this a little bit up. There we go. We could have patched this roll dice function regarding to this face number that we are providing the face number 7, for example. Then the application still might work, but I do not want to go into this right now because it's making this whole process unnecessarily complex. I just want to show you that patching with Frida is absolutely amazing, but if you go too far, you might crash your application. Alright, so let's do a little bit of a recap. If you go back to this script, so what we have learned in this section over here is the following. So we have seen that we need to be precise on the method we want to hook. We need to identify the exact method we want to hook. And we have also seen that Frida is amazingly helpful in providing us all the necessary information to perform our task over here. We have also seen if we go too far, like returning a number 7, but it's not available in these resources regarding to these dices, then we crash this application. Frida gives us unlimited power, but we need to use it wisely. Alrighty, in the next section we take a look at this dicer application once again. And this will be the last challenge I have prepared for you right now to this app. And the task would be the following. If we click on this one, we want to return the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, for example. No matter how many dices or number of faces we have inserted over here. We have already seen a little bit of an approach like this one. We have hooked the next int function and then we can override all dices at once. I mean, we can also wrap this in more complex JavaScript to perform this task, but of course there's an easier way. Think about what we have learned in the last videos, how these numbers are being filled in. And yeah, maybe think about a solution for this one. We will have a look into this one in the next section, but feel free to already go on this on yourself if you feel prepared for this one. If not, then that's absolutely no problem. But maybe make yourself a little bit familiar with JavaScripts and arrays. So feel free to play around with this one over here, and then I see you in the next video.